He was a retired prison warden named Arthur, a guy built like a brick wall who rarely smiled. His rule was completely non-negotiable. If he ever slid a green glass marble under my bedroom door, I had exactly 45 seconds to get out the window, run across the yard, and meet him in the old boathouse. No packing, no asking why, no putting on a jacket, just move. To a 12-year-old, it felt like a bizarre military drill. Every time I stayed the weekend, I knew the marble could drop at any moment. Sometimes it happened at 2 in the afternoon while I was playing video games. Sometimes it was at 4 in the morning. I'd scramble out the window, sprint through the wet grass, and find him sitting in the boathouse. He'd usually just nod, hand me a soda, and tell me my time. I genuinely thought it was just his weird, stoic way of bonding with me. That was until the middle of a sweltering July night. My parents were overseas, so I was spending the whole month at his lake house. I was dead asleep when a strange noise woke me up. It sounded like the heavy crunch of gravel right beneath my window. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, thinking it was just a stray raccoon or a branch falling. But then I heard the distinct, metallic snap of the back porch screen being sliced open. Before panic could even register in my chest, I heard a soft clack against the floorboards. I looked down in the dark. A green glass marble was rolling across the hardwood, stopping right at the edge of my rug. My stomach instantly dropped into my shoes. This wasn't a game anymore. I threw my legs over the side of the bed, shoved my bare feet into my boots without socks, and silently slid my window open. The entire house was suffocatingly quiet, but as I dropped into the bushes outside, I heard heavy footsteps entering the kitchen. I kept low and sprinted toward the water. The humidity was choking me, but I didn't stop until I crashed through the boathouse door. Arthur was already sitting in his aluminum skiff. The outboard motor was off, but he had an oar in his hands. He grabbed me by the back of my shirt, yanked me into the boat, and silently pushed us out into the pitch-black water. We drifted about 100 yards out into the lake before he finally spoke. He didn't raise his voice at all. "Look at the living room," he whispered. I turned back toward the shore. The house was completely dark, but 4 distinct flashlight beams were darting frantically inside. They were moving from room to room, tearing the place apart. Arthur pulled a heavy satellite phone out of his jacket and dialed. He didn't ask for help. He just gave the dispatcher his exact address and said, "We have a code 4 break-in. 4 hostiles. I am off the property." We sat in the freezing darkness of the lake for 20 minutes until a swarm of police cruisers flooded the long driveway, their red and blue lights reflecting off the water. The cops cornered them in the main hallway. It turned out they were a group of violent offenders my grandfather had overseen a decade ago. They knew he lived isolated on the lake. They had brought crowbars, heavy rope, and a clear plan to ensure neither of us made it out of that house alive. My grandfather had heard them cut the front gate chain. Instead of risking a fight in the dark, he bypassed the hallway entirely to drop the marble at my door and slipped out the back to secure our escape. Years later, when I was old enough to really process what happened, I asked him why he used a marble instead of just waking me up. He looked at me with those cold, serious eyes and said, "When people are terrified, voices make them ask questions. A signal just makes them react." He passed away last winter, but I still keep that green marble in my pocket every single day.